Good morning, this is Wayne Bilal with another smart profit maximizing moment. Today we're going to talk, well, we're going to adjust the camera. You gotta love live. I felt like I was just getting on top of my head almost. We're going to talk about the real reasons businesses fail. Um, Obviously, during this COVID-19, one of the reasons is you just haven't been able to stay open. I mean, you can't keep a business open if you have to continuously be paying rent and all your other overhead expenses, and you're not allowed to operate, or you're operating at a minimal amount. A study by CB Insights listed the top 20 reasons startups fail. I'll give the full study in the link. This isn't the first study about startup failures, but it's different than the others in that it provided a much higher level of detail. Though it focused on startups, I believe the lesson applies to pretty much every business that's not growing to the level the owner expected. Here's the study of the top 5 reasons business fails. No market need was listed at 42%. Almost half the failures were caused because their product didn't solve a customer problem. All right. This is why I spend so much time in our sales and marketing boot camp, which hopefully I'll do. Probably not this year. Hopefully maybe, we'll see. But I do spend some time on it even in my 90-day profit reset, which is getting people to understand what is the customer's true need and how do you provide the solution, the USP, what I talked about 2 days ago, the unique selling position, okay? Running out of cash was number 2 at 29%. A third of the businesses simply ran out of cash. This is why business owners must become an expert at raising, keeping, and budgeting their cash. This is also why business owners have to have good accounting records, okay? 3, not having the right team was listed by 23% of them. Look, they could list multiple things, okay? So that's why even these top 5 will hit 100 easy. Too often a small business owner can't grow a viable business independently and fails to bring in qualified help. Sooner or later this kills the business. And one of the things we need to change is bringing in qualified help doesn't necessarily mean that you're hiring them. You could be outsourcing them. I mean, I have a coach that does a ton of my coaching work. The book we're having is outsourced. All right, the cover was outsourced, the editing was outsourced, obviously. My marketing for all that, plus the coaching program we're going to launch, is outsourced. Pretty much getting ready to outsource the posting of all my videos and my other social media, okay? So you can have a team without having employees, is what I'm trying to get to. Being outcompeted was listed at 19%. You are often told to ignore the competition and just put out good work, but if they have a solution to the customer's problem that is much easier to use, or they simply outmarket you, they will become the leader in your niche and you will lose. 5, pricing and cost issues were listed by 18%. That's kind of interesting. You think about pricing, and that's usually the first thing business owners think about. And here, it's 5th on reasons businesses fail. Many businesses have trouble determining what they should charge and what price model to use. They often build a product or service and say, this is what I need to charge to make money. This approach ignores the customer, all right? What is the customer willing and able to pay to solve their problem? Only after you discover this information can you determine if you have a profitable solution, which is your product or service. This brings me back to the feature article. This brings me back to, I'm sorry, I had written this originally for something else, but I mentioned businesses seem to either be doing well or surviving, all right? I think that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing and have been seeing for the last 5 to 10 years, a shift where I have 2 or 3 businesses that are getting 80 to 90% of the customers, and the rest are being left to everybody else to pick over. Now this isn't a niche, and you can develop your own niche and you can dominate that small niche. You don't need to be Amazon. Your niche, a real estate agent that I know that her niche is one part of the city, and she does it well, and really only in certain, and she niches it even further where it's a certain type of house, all right? And people know, you got that house in that neighborhood, that's who you call. If you want that house in that neighborhood, that's who you call. That's outworking the competition, okay? If you aren't doing as well as you think you're doing, these 5 things are a large part of the problem, but they are not the problem. They're a symptom of the problem. The real problem, and as I did in another article and another, I did it on a video, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the last year and a half. The real number one reason businesses fail is simply a lack of business understanding. I have doctors, some of the worst business people I've ever dealt with. That didn't used to be a problem because 5-10 years ago, they'd hang up their shingle, they'd graduate finally, have $300,000 in debt, and they made tons of money. Didn't matter how bad a business person they are. Rules are changing. Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, competition, Obamacare, you name it, whatever. The rules are changing. They have to be business people now. The most successful doctors' practices I see are led by a doctor or some who has good business knowledge or has brought in somebody to help them with that strategic thinking and that business knowledge. Because at the end of the day, the number one thing that will kill your business is not having a strong, basic understanding of business. It's simple as that. Those 5 things I listed, you shouldn't have. All right. No market. You should know that before you go in. Running out of cash. There's no excuse for that, truthfully. I mean, it happens to the best of us. All right. But that it should not be a surprise. Not having the right team. There's no excuse in today's world. I mean, you don't even need to hire them anymore. Like I said, being out competed. Man, if you're not willing to get into the competition and do your job as a business owner, then go get a job. Work for somebody else who's willing to. Pricing and cost issues, again, that's having a basic understanding of business. So again, the number one reason businesses fail, lack of business understanding, lack of business knowledge. And that's not unusual because most 90%, 90+% of businesses are started by what I call technicians. They're people that are good at what they do. Hell, I'm not. I had a good education for a long time watching businesses succeed and fail and thought I knew what I was doing until I opened my own CPA firm. There's a huge difference between being a good CPA and being good at running a CPA firm. And that's what I had to learn over the time frame. And I had a hell of an advantage over most of my business owners who start off. Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Bilal saying, let's try to make sure that you get the best knowledge you can. Watch these videos, go to my blog. Look for, I've hired somebody to help me get this going. We're looking at sometime in July to do our 90-day profit reset. Very important. This is where you can start to get good knowledge, business knowledge, so you don't become a statistic like that. Or if you have a pretty one, brush up on stuff you've forgotten. I often go back and take things that I've forgotten. All right, take things over to see what I've forgotten. I knew I'd say that right if I kept talking. Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Bilal saying, let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you very much.